Good day everyone. Today we will be discussing about forming evaluative statements and developing a reading strategy. At the end of our lesson, you should be able to do the following learning objectives. Number 1, distinguish reading strategies to gain a full understanding of the arguments or topics raised in the text. Number 2, read critically the text in order to formulate judgments or evaluative statements. Let's have first in developing your reading strategy. In formal learning situations, you will be required to read and critically think about a lot of information from different sources. It is important, therefore, that you not only learn to read critically, but also efficiently. It's a way of achieving maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense. If you cannot read all of the books on a recommended reading list, you need to find a way of selecting the best text for you. And to start with, you need to know what you are looking for. You can then examine the contents page and/or index of a book or journal to ascertain whether a chapter or article is worth pursuing further. This is an example of a table of contents wherein you can be able to apply on how to select specific topic for you to gather or convey information. You don't need to read everything if you have that specific focus on your topic. Second reading strategy that we have is to select a suitable piece. The next step is to speed read. Now, speed reading is also often referred to as skim reading or scanning. Once you have identified a relevant piece of text, like a chapter in a book, you should scan the first few sentences of each paragraph to gain an overall impression of subject areas it covers. Now class, when you speed read, you are not aiming to gain a full understanding or full context of the arguments or topics raised in the text. Instead, it is a way of simply determining what the text about or what the text is about. When you find a relevant or interesting section, you will need to slow your reading speed dramatically, allowing you to gain a more in-depth understanding of the arguments raised. Speed reading is classified into two. We have skimming and scanning. Skimming is about getting an overview of the paragraph and state its main idea, while scanning is a quick reading strategy which aims to get specific information from a given text. Third reading strategy that we have is the SQ3R. SQ3R stands for survey, question, read, recite, and review. It can be applied to a whole range of reading purposes as it is flexible and takes into account the need to change reading speeds. Survey is the initial stage wherein you will be attempting to gain the general gist of the material in question. Q stands for question. Now class, it is important that before you begin to read, you have a set of questions that will guide you. The first question is that, why am I reading these? You should know your purpose why you are reading that book. Is it because you want to inform, you want to convey information, you want to gain knowledge, or is it because you really want to entertain yourself? So there's a lot of purposes why you are reading that book. But class, whatever purpose you have, there's one thing at the end of it, and that is for you to read critically, to understand what is being inculcated in the text. Another thing, having questions changes reading from a passive to an active pursuit because you are, as you read, you are answering those questions. You encounter the answers to those questions. The first R stands for read, and this involves a careful consideration of the meaning of what the author is trying to convey and involves being critical as well as active. The second R stands for recite or recall. Now, recalling or recapping from time to time allows you to focus upon the main points, which in turn aids concentration. Recalling gives you the chance to think about and assimilate what you have just read, keeping you active. A significant element in being active is to write down in your own words the key points. And the last R stands for review. This is the final step wherein after you have recalled your notes, you can ask yourself the following questions. Number 1 is, did you understand the main principles of the argument? 2 is, did you identify all the main points? 3, are there any gaps? Remember, class, that do not take it for granted that you have recalled everything you need correctly. That's why you need to review the text again to make sure and clarify some details. Now we're done with the different reading strategies. Now let's move on with writing an evaluative statement. Remember, class, when we evaluate something, we are giving our own judgment about it. We point out the strengths and weaknesses of that certain composition or text, and we are not doing that because we are degrading the author itself. No, we are doing evaluative statement for us to help them to improve their skills in writing. And that is your main goal, to help them to improve their skills in terms of writing. The use of evaluative language enables the writers of self-assessment reports to present our opinions, our judgments, and our points of view in a clear and concise manner. Evaluative language also helps turn fact into key judgments. One reminder in evaluating a statement is to prepare. Develop a clear evaluative statement. Work with colleagues, classmates, students, friends who are knowledgeable about the subject, and look carefully at the key criteria you are being asked to evaluate yourself against. Always utilize reliable evidence to support your evaluation, such as achievement data, learner numbers, stakeholder views, colleagues' experience, etc. Creating notes in bullet format will also help you to plan what you want to say and will crystallize your thinking. Organize your bullet notes into, number 1, its strengths, and number 2, the areas for improvement. Avoid trying to cancel out areas for improvement with strengths and vice versa. Zone does not cancel out the other. You are simply looking to compare, and well-organized notes will help you develop a balanced view. The second reminder is to develop. When writing an evaluative statement, you are explaining why a strength is a strength, or an area for improvement needs improving. Remember, you need to be specific in pointing out his or her strengths in his or her works. Now, you really need to point out why it became his or her strength and why it became his or her weakness. And providing those weaknesses, you need to point out to suggest the ways on how he will improve those weaknesses. The judgment is best developed by, number 1, looking at all your notes for your subject and ask yourself, how well is this activity being done? Number 2, use notes to help the reader understand your opinion. 3, ask yourself, what impact is this having? And last but not least, put them all together. Thanks for watching. See you in my next one. Please like, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button for more lessons to learn. Bye!